Assalamu alaikum everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to solve some non-calculator questions. So this is a series where we're practicing how to solve questions that are designed to be solved without a calculator. As you know, there has been a syllabus change, and the syllabus change is very significant for IGCSE students because now you cannot use a calculator in paper 2. We're talking about the extended curriculum here. So what I've done is I've taken out some questions from the topic everyday math, under which you have percentages, you have basically a little bit of ratios also maybe, and you have profit loss, discount, etc, etc. So we're going to solve some questions. These are all past paper questions, by the way, and remember, if you have a question in paper 2 of IGCSE or paper 1 in O-level, both of which are non-calculator, that means that they are designed to be done without a calculator. So there's no need to freak out. It's not like this is a question which, yes, having a calculator would help, but it's not exactly a deal breaker. So let's start. Before I start, as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video and share this with whoever you think can possibly benefit from it. So first part, very simple. We're supposed to calculate 5% of 280,000. What do? We take 5%, which means 5 upon 100 multiplied by 280,000. So let's simplify. We cross out the two zeros. 5, what are we left with? We're left with 5 into 2,800. Now, here's what I would suggest. If your mental math is really good, and if you ask me, my mental math is not that good, to be honest. So I would literally prefer that, instead of taking a risk, because it's a 1-mark question, you get it right or you get it wrong. So I would instead prefer that, I work out 28 times 5 separately, and then I add the two zeros in the end. Now, there is a shortcut which you can use to multiply by 5. And the shortcut is that whatever number it is that you're multiplying by 5, you're divided by 2. That means 28 is being multiplied by 5. So I divide 28 by 2, which is 14. And then I add a 0 in the end. This shortcut works for every single number. Like, for example, you want to do 36 times 5. So what's 36 divided by 2? That's 18. And you add a 0 in the end. So 180. So, these shortcuts are basically the key to saving time in paper 1. But like I said, if you don't know the shortcut, or if you find it overwhelming to memorize so many shortcuts, then just work it out the normal way. You'll probably just take 30 seconds extra, which is no big deal. So anyway, 5 times 28 is 140. Don't forget that we have to add the two zeros. So the answer is 14,000. And there you go, no big deal. Okay, now part B. A single carton of juice cost 4.2. A special offer pack of 3 cartons cost $9.45. Ali bought a special offer pack instead of 3 single cartons. Calculate his percentage saving. So we want to find out what is his percentage saving. So first we want to find out what is the amount that has been saved. So if he buys them separately, he pays 4.2. But if he buys a pack of 3, that means for 3 he paid 9.45. So that means if I want to calculate how much he paid for 1, I simply have to divide 9.45 by 3. So 3 ones are 3. 3 threes are 9. Let's put a decimal as it is. 3 ones are 3. 1 carry. 3 fives are 15. So 9.45 divided by 3 is equal to what? Is equal to 3.15. Now notice that he is paying 3.15 instead of 4.2. So what is his saving? His saving would simply be 4.20 minus 3.15. And we want to calculate this as a percentage. So we're going to divide it by the original amount, or the amount without any savings. That means 4.2, and we're going to multiply this by 100. Now, whether you write it as 4.2 or whether you write it as 4.20, please know that it makes no difference whatsoever. So 4.2 minus 3.15, you can work this out mentally. If not, you're always welcome to actually work it out the way that you're comfortable. Okay, the idea is to do it the way that you're comfortable. There's no need to feel inferior if you can't work this out mentally. So 20 minus 15 is 0.5. And 4 minus 3 is 1. So that means we are down to 1.05 over 4.2 into 100. Okay, now, what do we do here? Let's see if we can simplify. How can we simplify? Let's see if I can simplify maybe using the table of, well, we can do it by 1.05, but this is something that may not occur in the exam. So let's do it the conventional way. So 1.05 times 100 is equal to 105 divided by 4.2. Okay. Now, how do we divide fractions that have decimals? First things first, let's get rid of the decimal, which means let's multiply the numerator by 10 and also the denominator by 10. So what we're down to is 1050 upon 42. Now, can we simplify this? I'm sure we can. What can we simplify this with? Let's maybe start with 2. Okay, so 2 2s are, 2 1s are, and then 2 5s are 10, 2 2s are 4, 1 carry, 2 5s are 10 again. So what are we left with? We're left with 525 upon 21. Now can we divide 525 by 3? Let's see, 5 plus 7, 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 5 is 12. So if you add the two numbers and the result is a multiple of 3, that means the entire number is divisible by 3. So 3 7s are, 3 1s are 3, 2 carry, 3 7s are 21, 1 carry, 3 5s are 15. So we are down to 175 upon 7. Now let's try and see if it is actually divisible by 7 or not. If it is, that's great. If it's not, nothing to worry about. We'll just leave it as it is, or maybe write it as a mixed number. So 7 1s are 7, 7 2s are 14, 3 carry, 7 5s are 35. So there you go. That means the answer is 25%. Now, my apologies, the working is a bit messy, I know, but just do it the way that you're comfortable. You'll be given space on the side to do working like this, so don't be don't be afraid to take this much space. Just make sure that you do it step by step and you don't skip any relevant steps, which might make a difference in the answer. So that was one question. Let's move on to the next question. Let's see what this question says. A jar contained 370 grams of jam. Usman ate 30% of the jam. What mass of the jam remained? Okay, so if he's eaten 30%, that means what's left is 70%. So all we got to do is, for the first part, just find out 70% of 370. Once again, let's see how we can make this easy for ourselves. So let's simplify as much as we can. We can cross out these two zeros. We can cross out these two zeros. And what we're down to is 7 times 37. Now, if you can work this out mentally, you're a genius. But I'm not. I can't work this out mentally, so I'll just do it the conventional way. 7 7s are 49. There you go. 7 3s are 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. So that means the mass of the jam that remains is 259 grams, which is the correct answer. Now, part B. In 2006, the population of a town was 30,000. This was 5,000 more than the population in 1999. Calculate the percentage increase in population. Okay. Now, percentage increase or percentage change or percentage decrease is always done the same way. So percentage change is equal to new minus old upon old into 100. Okay, that's a very important formula which you must remember. Now, what's the new? The new is 30,000. Now, this is 5,000 more. So that means the old one must have been 25,000. So do I really have to do 30,000 minus 25,000? Not really, because I just want the change. I know the change is 5,000. Okay, and what do we divide this with? We divide this by the original amount. So if 30,000 is 5,000 more, that means the old amount must have been 25,000, or the old population must have been 25,000. And since we want this as a percentage, we multiply it by 100. So let's cross out these two zeros with these two zeros. Let's cross out this 0 with this 0. What are we left with? We're left with 500 upon 25. 25 1s are 25, 25 2s are 50, and 0 zeros are 0. So what's that? That's equal to 20%. Now, I should have said this in the beginning, but from now on, every single question that I solve, I will encourage you to pause the video, try it yourself, and then have a look at the working. This way you can practice alongside. So here's question number 3. Let's see what this says. In a town, 11,000 people out of the total population of 50,000 are aged under 18. What percentage of the population is aged under 18? So we'll take the number of people who are aged under 18, that's 11,000. We'll divide that by the total population, that's 50,000. And since we want this as a percentage, we'll multiply it by 100. Okay. So let's cross out these three zeros with these three zeros. Let's cross out this with this. Let's see if we can simplify it further. So 11 and 5 cannot be simplified, but 10 and 5 can be simplified. So 5 1s are, 5 2s are, 11 times 2, that's equal to 20. Okay, no, here, 22%. See if that's the correct answer. Yep, that is the correct answer. Now, Part B says, a company employing 1,200 workers increased the number of workers by 15%. How many workers does it now employ? Now, when solving questions like these, make sure that you read the question very carefully, because sometimes the question might ask you the change, sometimes the question might ask you the new values. Here, it's asking you for the new value. So there's a very standard way of solving questions like these that I prefer, and you can use that method and apply it to pretty much every single question there is. So basically, you make a column for percentage and you make a column for workers, since that's what we're talking about in this question. If it was money, we would have made another column. We would have called the second column dollars. Now, 1,200 is the amount to begin with. That means it's the actual amount, the original amount, or the old amount. So that is always equal to 100%. So 100% is equal to 1,200 workers. Now, what happens if you increase something by 15%? In terms of percentage, that will be 115. Why 115? Because 100 plus 15. Now, what's that equal to? We don't know. That's x. What do? We cross multiply, since it's a direct proportion. If you increase the percentage, the number of workers will also increase. So let's cross multiply and see what's what. So 100x is equals to 115 times 1,200. Now, if you're thinking, why can't we calculate 15% of 1,200 and then add it? You can totally do that, but this, can be done in one step, as you will see. So we cross out the two zeros, we cross out the two zeros from here. Since there's an equals to sign in between, that means we can simplify across the equals to sign. So x is equals to 115 times 12. Now, if you're like me, you can't work this out directly, nothing to worry about. Let's work it out on the side over here. So 115 needs to be multiplied by 12. So 2 times 5, that's 10. 2 times 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. Now let's put a cross here. 1 times 5 is 5. You remember, when you're multiplying the second digit, you ignore everything that you carried from before. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is, once again, 1. So 0, 8, 3, 1. So that means the answer is 1380 workers. That means now it employs 1380 workers, and that is the correct answer. Now let's move on. So once again, I'll encourage you to pause this question, try it yourself, and then you can see whether it's correct or not. The profits of a company were $5 million in 2009 and $8 million in 2010. Calculate the percentage increase in profits from 2009 to 2010. So like I said, there's always a standard way to solve questions like these, that you calculate the percentage change. So from 5 to 8, that's 3 million. You don't necessarily have to write the 6 zeros for the million, since every value is in million. And the old value, or the original value, is 5. Let's multiply that by 100. 5 ones are, 5 twos are 10, 0 as it is, 3 times 20, that's equal to 60%. Let's see if that's the correct answer. Yep, that is the correct answer. Okay, now let's look at part B. Part B says another company had an income of $20 million in 2008. In 2009, this income decreased by 10%. In 2010, this income increased by 15%. From the 2009 income, find the income in 2010. So basically, we're given the starting value of 2008. We're given what happens in 2009. We're given what happens in 2010. And that's what we're supposed to find out, the overall in the income at the end. Now, questions like these are basically called successive percentage changes, where you're given, you have to apply one percentage change and then you have to apply another percentage. So questions like these also can be solved in a very standard and a very specific way. So here's how you do them. So the starting value, which is the income in 2008, is $20 million. Then when we get to 2009, the income is decreased by 20%. How do you decrease anything by 20%? Or what happens when something is decreased by 20%? What percent is left of it? Simply 90%. There you go. And then when we get to 2010, this income is increased by 15%. Okay, which income? The income that you have in 2009. So that means once this part of the equation or this part of the expression is solved, we will have the income in 2009, which we're then supposed to increase by 15%. So how do you increase something by 15%? You simply multiply it by 115 upon 100. So increasing means you want the original 100 and then an additional 15%. And that's it. That's all we have to do. Now, what we have to do is simply simplify this. So let's see what we can do. So let's start by crossing out the zeros. Then let's cross out the 0 with this 0. Okay. Anything else that we can simplify? Yep, there's plenty that to do. 2 ones are 2. 2 5s are 10. 0 as is. Now we can simplify the 50 and 115 using the table of 5. So 5 tens are, okay, really sorry for the horrible handwriting, and 5 2s are 10, 1 carry, 5 3s are 15. Okay, so what we have to do now is 23 times 9. So let's work out 23 times 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 3 is 27, and 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. So that means 207. And remember, we still have a 10 in the denominator, so it's 207 divided by 10, which is equal to 20.7, and that's the final answer. Yep, there you go. 20.7 is the income in 2010. All right, so I hope it's clear. I hope you can use this method now and apply it to any question that you want. Now, next question. A dealer sold a painting for $800. She made a profit of 25% on the price she paid for it. So that means this $800 include the 25% profit. Okay, how do I know? Just by reading the question. That she made a profit of 25% on the price she paid for it by selling it for $800. So once again, questions like these have a very standard way of, there's a very standard way of solving questions like these. So the $800 value that you're given, what is the percentage corresponding to it? Is it 100? Is it 125? Is it 75? Is it 25? Let's see. Now, since this is an increase of 25% on the price that she paid for it, so that means this is 125% of the cost price. Now, cost price, remember, is always 100%, and which is equal to what? Which is equal to x. Now, all we have to do is cross multiply. So 125x is equals to 100 times 800. You can simplify this, be smart, simplify using, don't start by simplifying, don't start by using 5. You can do it directly by 25. 25 5s are 25, 25 4s are 100. Then you can simplify 5 and 800. 5 1s are 5, 5 1s are 5, 3 carry, 5 6 are 30, 0 as it is. So in the end is 4 times 160, 16 times 4 is 64. Don't forget to add a 0 in the end. So the final answer is 640. And there you go. You can solve any question using this method. Next, Dwayne buys a camera for $90. He sells the camera for $126. Calculate his percentage profit. So percentage profit is basically profit upon cost times 100. Now, what's the profit? Profit can be found by simply taking the difference between the cost price and the selling price. So that's 126 minus 90. What's the cost? 90 multiplied by 100. So 126 minus 90 is 36. 36 upon 90 times 100. Let's see if we can simplify this. The zeros cancel. 9 1s are 9. 9 4s are 36. 4 times 10 is 40%. So he made a good 40% profit, which I think is not a bad deal at all. Now, let's do the next question. The next question says the price of a computer was $375. In a sale, the price was reduced by 15%. Calculate the reduction in the price of the computer. So be careful. You're not supposed to calculate the reduced price. You're supposed to calculate just the reduction amount. So all you got to do is simply calculate 15% of 375. Now, if you're wondering that why can't I use the method that I used earlier, well, you can use that also. Here's how. So make a column for percentage and make another column for dollar. So this 375 is the actual amount. That means it's 100. The price has been reduced by 15%. So that means what you want is the reduction. That means just the 15%. If let's say you accidentally end up writing 85 over here, which is 100 minus 15, you will get the reduced price. And then you can find out the difference to get the reduction in the price of the computer as well. So that's how these questions work. There's nothing complicated. Honestly, just make sure that you read the question carefully and you'll be fine. And obviously make sure that you do enough practice. So 15 into 375, let's start simplifying. Let's start simplifying using the table of 5. 5 2s are 10, 0 as it is, 5 3s are 15. Let's simplify using the table of 5 again. 5 4s are 20, 5 7s are 35, 2 carry, 5 5s are 25. Let's write that neatly. Okay, now what we're left with is 4x is equals to 75 times 3. Now what's 75 times 3? That's 225. So 4x is equals to 225. That means x is equal to 225 divided by 4. So 4 ones are 4, 4 fives are 20, 2 carry, 4 6 are 24. What are we left with? We're left with 1. And what's 1 upon 4? 1 upon 4 is basically 0.25. So that means 56.25 is basically the reduction in the price of the computer. Okay, so once again, just don't freak out just because you don't have a calculator. Remember, there's always a way out, and this is basically the way out. Do it the way that you're comfortable. Now, next question. Imran is paid $16 per hour. 1 week he works for 35 hours. Calculate the amount he is paid for the week. So no brainer, just multiply 16 times 35. Okay, once again, my mental maths is not that good, so I'll just do it the conventional way. 35 times 16, 6 times 5 is 30, 6 times 3 is 18, 18 plus 3 is 21. I'm going to put a cross here. Let's cross this 3. So 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 3 is 3, 0, 6, 5. So 560. Let's see if that's the correct answer. Yep, there you go. That's the correct answer. Imran is paid 20% extra per hour for working at weekends. Work out the total amount Imran is paid for working 4 hours at the weekend. Okay. So first of all, he will not be getting $16 per hour. He'll be getting 20% extra. That means he will be getting 120%. Okay, so here's another way that you can figure out the amount that he will be getting. It's the $16 which you're supposed to increase by 20%, and the way to do it directly is to simply multiply it by 120 upon 100. You could do it the conventional way that you could make a column for percentage, you could make a column for dollar, where 100 is equals to 16, 120 is equals to x, but this is a more direct approach which you should be familiar with. And the best way to get yourself familiar with it is to start practicing it. So we start simplifying, we cross out the zeros. Let's see what else we can simplify. So, you know what, I'm going to hold on to the upon 10. Why? Because upon 10 always comes in handy, it's easy to divide. 16 times 12, however, let's work that out. So 2 times 6 is 12, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, and then 1 times 16, 1 times 6 is 1, 1 times 6 is 6, 1 as it is, 2, 9, 1. So that means it's 192 upon 10. Now you can see why I didn't simplify the 10, because it always comes in handy. That means now he is getting paid 19.2 for working over the weekend. Now how many hours did he work for over the weekend? He worked for 4 hours. That means now what we have to do is we have to multiply 19.2 by 4. Now how do you multiply decimals? Well, just remember that forget that there is a decimal to begin with. Just multiply the normal way, and then I'll tell you what you do at the end. 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 9 is 36, 4 ones are 4, 4 plus 3 is 7. So 768 obviously can't be the correct answer because we're multiplying 19.2 by 4. Now how many decimals did we actually ignore? We just ignored one decimal. So now what we're going to do is, since at the moment the decimal is over here, we're going to bring this decimal, the number of decimal places that we ignored, on the left. So we ignored just one decimal place, we'll bring it one place to the left, and the answer is 76.8. And there we go, that is the correct answer. Now let's move on. Sufia earned $7.6 for each hour she works. She starts at 7:45 a.m. and she finishes at 4:30 p.m. Okay. She stops work for half an hour for lunch. Okay. How much does she earn for the day? Okay. So first of all, let's calculate the number of hours that she works. Okay. So we're starting with 7:45, and let's see what 7:45 till 4:30 p.m. is. Now from 7:45 to 8 a.m. that's a quarter of an hour, so that's 0.25, and from 4 to 4:30 that's basically half an hour, so that's 0.5. Okay, now let's count the hours from 8 to 4. Okay, this is a bit messy, but I hope you guys get the concept. So basically what we're doing is this. I'll write it neatly so that it's clear for you to understand. Basically we just need to calculate the number of hours in between. Now she's working till 4:30, so instead of doing 4:30, what I'm doing is I'm just finding out the number of hours between 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and we're taking this 0.5 of an hour separately. Okay, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 8. That means 8 hours. So that is 8.0 hours. Now let's add them up. What do we get? Okay, and just to be sure, let's count it again from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is in fact 8 hours. So 8 plus 0.5 plus 0.25 is 8.75. But be careful, she takes a break for half an hour. So that means now let's subtract 0.5 of an hour. So we're left with 8.25. Okay. Now 8.25 is the number of hours that she's working, for which every hour she is getting paid 7.6. So all we have to do is multiply. How do we multiply? Remember what I said, that you forget that there is a decimal to begin with, and you just multiply normally. So instead of doing 8.25 times 7.6, we'll simply do 825 times 76. Okay, and you might be thinking that there's 7.60, and how come I've considered 7.6 and not the 0? Because it makes no difference. No matter how many decimals you add, how many zeros you add towards the end, it makes no difference whatsoever. So 5 times 6 is 30, 6 times 2 is 12, 12 plus 3 is 15, 6 times 8 is 48, 48 plus 1 is 49. We put a cross here. Let's ignore the numbers that we carried. 7 times 5 is 35, 7 times 2 is 14, 14 plus 3, that's 17. 7 times 8 is 56, 56 plus 1, that is 57. Now let's add this up. 0, 1 carry because 5 plus 5 is 10, 9 plus 1 is 10, 10 plus 1 is 17, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 7 is 12, 5 plus 1 is 6. Now, how many decimals did we ignore? So notice that we considered 7.6 instead of 7.60. So we ignored a total of 2 plus 1, 3 decimals. So that means we're going to move the decimal 3 places towards the left. So 1, 2, 3. So that means she earns a total of $62.7. Okay, so her daily income is 62.7. Let's see if that's the correct answer. That is, in fact, the correct answer. Great. Now let's move on. Now, I guess this is the second last question. So I hope you guys are pausing the video, solving these questions yourself. Marlon earns $1,500 each month. He pays rent of $525 each month. Find the amount he pays in rent as a percentage of his earnings. So for this, there's a formula, which is as/is upon of multiplied by 100. Now, with this basically helps you placing the values. It says find out the amount that he pays in rent as. So that means the value with the word as comes in the numerator, and what's the value? It's the rental value, which is 525. And what comes with the word of is his earnings, so that comes in the denominator, as you can see. So his earnings are 1,500, and since we're supposed to find this as a percentage, we simply multiply it by 100. So let's start simplifying. Let's cross this out. Let's simplify using the table of 5. 5 3s are 15, 5 1s are 5, and since it's 525, so 105, 5 into 105 is 525. Now, can we simplify this further? Of course we can. We can simplify this using the table of 3. So 3 3s are 9, 1 carry, 3 5s are 15. So that means the answer is 35%, which is correct. Now, last question. When Ahmed paid $81, he received a 10% discount on the normal price. So that means this is already the discounted price. And what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to calculate the normal price. So questions like these and the ones where you're given the value towards the end are called reverse percentages questions. So here's what we're going to do. When Ahmed paid $81, that means this is 81. He received a 10% discount. Now, this is 10% less than the actual. That means this is 90%. What would be the normal or the actual price? 100%. What do we do? Cross multiply. 90x is equals to 100 times 81. So we cross out the 0. 9 1s are 9. 9 9s are 81. 9 into 10, that's equal to 90. So 90 is the normal price, and that was the last question. So let's see if that's the correct answer. That is, in fact, the correct answer. So I hope you guys have understood. Getting the right answer is not the objective. What's the objective is to understand how questions like these are attempted so that you can be independent and solve any question like this on your own. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what is it that you want me to cover next, especially in the non-calculator series. So that's it for this video. Make sure to like it and share it with your friends, classmates, and whoever you think can possibly benefit from it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. Allah Hafiz.